Welcome to Seize the Mains by Malhotra's IS Academy. I'm Surbhi Sardana and this is season 3 of our daily answer writing initiative. This initiative works in coordination with our website rajisacademy.com. On our website, in the mains answer writing section, you can click here and you will see a list of questions. As this is day 46, we have already covered 45 questions which are very important from mains point of view, whether you're sitting for UPSC Civil Services or State Civil Services. So join us in this initiative. Click on the link in the description to take you to the website directly. There you will find a list of questions and you can answer the question of your choice, and our team will respond back with our valuable feedback within 48 hours. And this initiative is entirely free of cost. The question for day 46 is with regards to inflation targeting. So yesterday at 2:30 p.m. Drishti ma'am, yesterday at 8 p.m. in fact, Drishti ma'am took a discussion regarding RBI submitting a report to the central government regarding breach of inflation targets. So the report might not be that very important, but inflation targeting as a concept and how is it carried out in India, that is very important. So we have framed a question which is very likely in this year's mains. Explain the inflation targeting mechanism of RBI. Discuss the problems associated with this method of adjusting monetary policy. So you must be aware of positive sides. Positive sides are there. That's why this method has been employed. अच्छी चीज़ें हैं, इसलिए method को use किया जा रहा है inflation targeting method के तौर पर. Answer in 150 words. So this question has two parts, but the thing is that it is a very short word limited question. बहुत ही छोटी सी word limit है, तो उसमें आपको answer करना है. Explain the inflation targeting mechanism of RBI. So we will ascribe few paragraphs, 2 paragraphs हम explanation को देंगे. In the initial paragraph, we'll talk lightly about what this method is and why has this been put in place. इसका principle क्या है? In the second paragraph, we will talk about this method in detail, how it works, what is the monetary policy committee, how often do they meet and how often do they decide the repo rate for targeting inflation. Then discussing the problems can be taken from any of the recent editorials that are coming in newspapers. बहुत सारी problems इस method को लेकर discuss की जा रही हैं and they say that it is not a good method for India in the long run. But this has been employed by the government and it has given good results also. So we'll see both sides of the argument. In the introduction, introduce inflation targeting. Don't exceed your introduction beyond 4 to 5 lines. 5 is maximum. Don't put your introduction beyond that. So inflation targeting is a method that focuses on adjusting monetary policy to achieve a specified annual rate of inflation. तो एक rate of inflation government set कर देती है and उसको monetary policy को उस हिसाब से चलाया जाता है. The principle, basically inflation targeting का principle क्या है? It is based on the belief that long-term economic growth is best achieved by maintaining price stability. Price stability, or basically if you can control inflation in an economy, then you can control the long-term growth also. So this is the principle and this is very important for questions on inflation targeting. And price stability is achieved by controlling inflation. Now, where is the legal mandate? So RBI Act was amended in 2015. It was amended and ये जो inflation targeting का जो responsibility है, this was given to a monetary policy committee which has members from the RBI itself. The governor is himself the member, and which has members from RBI itself and from the executive and legislative branches of government also, and many specialists also. So the amended RBI Act provides for the inflation target to be set by the government of India every 5 years. So the government of India, a very important prelims question, this has been asked earlier also. So government of India sets this inflation target in consultation with the Reserve Bank every 5 years. So these three lines are enough for your introduction. Now you can move on to the explanation part. So every 2 months the Monetary Policy Committee meets. The Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee has a review meeting where they discuss the likely inflation and growth estimates over the coming months. If they feel that they change the policy rate or repo rate accordingly. So if they feel that inflation is higher than the inflation target set by the central bank, then the monetary policy committee increases the repo rate ताकि availability of money जो है वो कम हो जाए economy में. So they increase repo rate when inflation is higher than what is given the target टारगेट इन्फ्लेशन से अगर हाई है, एंड वाइस वर्सा. सो द MPC लुक्स at consumer price index, consumer price inflation पर look upon करते हैं ये, and according to the rates of consumer, according to the percentages of CPI, this repo rate is changed. So CPI is a very key component in your answer. Include CPI because this will be used in the issues part also. So the framework agreement requires the RBI to submit a report to the central government अगर 3 quarters तक, 3 consecutive quarters तक inflation target breach हुआ है. So if for example if it goes above 6% target for 3 consecutive quarters, then a report has to be submitted to the union government specifying reasons that why the target was breached, and below 2% also, below 2% or above 6%. So nominal range or the average range is keeping it around 4% or depending upon the requirement. If these targets are breached, then that the RBI or the MPC has to give a report to the union government specifying the reasons and specifying solutions also, that what will they do to undo this inflation target breach. Now what are the issues? This is the second part of your answer. Whenever issues or solutions are asked, try to take a point format. Point format में answer कीजिए. It would make the examiner very clear that you know this answer. Whenever a concept has to be explained, take a body paragraph approach. In comment answers, take a body paragraph approach, and wherever these are very direct answers when you're asked to write about issues. So we'll take the point format. These are very descriptive points, but just use 1 to 2 lines maximum, or just use keywords, half sentences in your answer ताकि 150 words में पूरा हो सके. So the first one is high sensitivity of India's inflation index. We use CPI, Consumer Price Index हम लोग use करते हैं inflation target के लिए. So if you are aware of basic concepts of economy, Consumer Price Index also consists of food and fuel prices. And food and fuel prices are not affected by repo rate or rate of interest. People do not have to take loans for this, for purchasing these commodities. And food and fuel prices are, very volatile in nature. They keep on changing from time to time. So this CPI is very highly sensitive, and this highly sensitive index is used by RBI. So right now we don't have another option, but critics say that food and fuel prices should be taken out from the index that we are using. So critics have argued for the need to look at an indicator of inflation that excludes food and fuel, or at measures of inflation instead of just the CPI. तो CPI को ही पूरा neglect करने की बात की जा रही है, या CPI minus food and fuel prices. So this is one such issue. Secondly, assumption of correct output level. See, your output can be changed according to seasons, according to natural disasters, according to anything. So that assumption is sometimes not right. So that is another issue. The third one is the limited power of RBI. So as we see in the lockdown and the COVID-19 pandemic, that prices of food or fruits, vegetables, they were rising in spite of that percentage, in spite of RBI taking a lot of measures, repo rate control करने के बाद भी food prices were rising. So RBI has limited power of changing the repo rate only. MPC can look at the repo rate only, but that power in itself is very limited to regulate the growth story of an economy, especially for the short term and then for the long run. The fourth one is adverse impact on other sectors, because MPC or RBI is engaged in controlling inflation and driving growth of the economy. Other sectors, for example, issues which happened with PMC Bank, PNB and Yes Bank, these cases that suggest poor management and maladministration, these also affect the economy directly or indirectly. They affect the people of this country, citizens of this country, and it hurts the economy of a country on a very large scale. So these take a back seat, and these are the adverse impacts that can escape RBI scrutiny, as they tend to focus more on inflation targeting. So these issues have to be brought into the picture. The fifth one is that RBI has kept the interest rates high to manage inflation, but whenever interest rates are high, people cannot afford this high interest rate loans. Forget about people, the industries which after being investing in India, जो investments होती है India में, they create jobs and they drive the economy further. So that is where economic growth comes from, right? But since RBI has tried to keep repo rates high to control inflation, this investment has suffered, which has adversely impacted the growth. Now, inflation targeting is a method to lead economic growth of the country in the long run, and if this method of inflation targeting is not serving the purpose of economic growth, then this is one such issue we need to look at. The sixth one is global nature of inflation. If crude oil prices rise in the international market, if a war happens, for example the Russia-Ukraine war, if anything happens in United States of America, it impacts our prices, our international exports, our imports, they are affected. The validation of rupee as compared to other currencies, hard currencies, that is impacted. So it is totally not in our control, because inflation is of global in nature. So we need to have such powers that are beyond changing repo rate, that are beyond adjusting the interest rates, and they look towards more broad colors of factors. So inflation is global process in nature, and the price level of a good is determined by millions of producers across the world. So in the conclusion has to be very brief, 2 to 3 lines at max, because you do not have a lot of words. What you can say is that if this inflation targeting approach gives a picture about future to the investors, to people, that how much are they to save if they can afford a loan right now, or because RBI or MPC, they give us chance for the next few months. So people can decide, investors can decide based on the policy rates of this particular committee. Also they tell about future also, that we will be keeping the repo rates here only, and they don't cheat on that, they don't ditch on that. If they say today in after a meeting that yes, the repo rates will be kept constant or they will be decreased, they will for sure be decreased in the next quarter. So this gives a idea to people, to potential investors, to make their decisions. However, the last line can be said that nonetheless some reforms are desired in the inflation targeting procedure to achieve optimum outcomes. So with the use of these points, these facts, these data, the answer can be finished within the word limit of 150 words. Write your own answer, share it with us on our website rajIASacademy.com, and we'll respond back to you with our feedback. I'll see you with another discussion tomorrow. Till then, all the best and keep working hard.